So we are back again with our 9th standard geography. We must be also aware that the asteroid that was supposed to hit the earth just escaped, and that's the good news. And if heaven saves us, hope the earth also will save us. The pandemic will get over, but till then let them have the patience. Let us have the patience. So dear children, we have to continue. It's not so pleasant to be at home and in this way of doing studies, but well, the show must go on, and today we will continue with the topic the motions of the earth. And in this particular chapter we were talking in the morning, rather in the previous sessions, the seasons. We discussed about summer and winter. Now in this particular session we will be in detail discussing the happening and the features and facts of autumn and spring. Autumn and spring, they are known as equinoxes. Now what is an equinox? What is equinox? See this diagram. We told you earlier that earth goes around the sun on its orbit, and in the universe, in the galaxy, the earth has got its different place around the sun in different time of the year. Now during the equinoxes, and equinoxes are two types, one is the spring and the other one is the autumn. What happens? The earth goes in such a way, moves in such a way that the sun's rays falls vertically over the equator. Now once again, this is the axis and this is the circle of illumination. That means this is dividing the earth into the day part and the night part. But see, that line is going exactly, it is making the two half from here to here, and here to here distance is same will be the Tropic of Cancer. The distance between this place and this place will be the same. So that's why we say, that's why we say that on these 2 days the sun's rays falls vertically on equator, and throughout the world or earth the duration of day and night will be equal, 12 hours day and 12 hours night. This happens on 2 days. So as the earth revolves around the sun, there are 2 moments each year when the sun is exactly above the equator. It falls vertical over the equator. There is 2 fixed days. These are March 21st and September 23rd. These are called equinoxes. What is an equinox? See the definition almost like at the back, at the bottom. An equinox is an event in which a planet's subsolar point passes through the equator. In simple language, the sun is over it on the equator. So what happens? So equinoxes are the only time when both the northern as well as the southern hemisphere experience equal amounts or the duration of daytime and nighttime. We will go in details now about the autumnal equinox. During the autumnal equinox, autumnal means autumn. It happens on 23rd of September. we have not yet reached this year summer solstice, summer season. So after summer season, after 2-3 months, we'll get the autumn. So 23rd of September, autumnal equinox. What is a equinox? See, equinox, the word actually comes from a Latin word which means equality of day and night. So on equinox, day and night will be the equal duration. The equinoxes are the time when both the northern and southern hemisphere experience equal amount of day and night. We said earlier, that means the entire world will have the equal day and night on these days. So on 23rd of September, if northern hemisphere is experiencing 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night, then southern hemisphere also will have the same. The sun shines exactly over it on the equator, and autumnal equinox happens on 23rd of September in northern hemisphere. On the same day, 23rd of September, the southern hemisphere will have the spring equinox. We said in the earlier session that the seasons, summer and winter, just the opposite. If northern hemisphere will have summer, then the southern hemisphere will have winter, and if the northern hemisphere will have the autumnal equinox, then the southern hemisphere will have the spring equinox. So here on 23rd of September, from the northern hemisphere points of view, we have the autumnal equinox, whereas on the same day, southern hemisphere will have the spring equinox. Now what is spring equinox? Vice versa, just the opposite. It will happen. It happens on 21st of March. Now the spring equinox has got one more term called vernal equinox. Now again, the vernal is coming from another foreign language. Most probably there is this also from Latin, maybe Greek. So in the northern hemisphere, the spring or vernal equinox happens on March 21st. In the northern hemisphere, the March equinox or the called spring equinox is called the vernal equinox. Why? Why? Because it signals the beginning of spring. Vernal means fresh or new, like the spring. In the southern hemisphere, the same March equinox is called the autumnal equinox on the same day. As I told you again and again, that the seasons are just the opposite to the hemispheres. If northern hemisphere is having spring, the southern hemisphere will have autumn. The sun is exactly above the equator, and as always we say, during the equinox we will have 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night throughout the world. In this chapter, towards the end, we also discuss about the midnight sun, the phenomena of midnight sun. Now what is this phenomena of the midnight sun? That means in the middle of the night the sun rises? No, not at all. So what is the phenomena of midnight sun? Let's go through it. Phenomena of midnight sun, it describes the phenomenon in which the sun never dips, sinks, goes down below the horizon, keeping the region bathed in sunlight 24 hours a day. Do you remember in the previous session we have explained why during this time, during the summer solstice, summer season or the winter season, in the summer season, the North Pole, from the northern hemisphere points of view, North Pole will never get the dark, that means 24 hours of day. Yeah, keeping in that mind, 24 hours of day. So that's why the northern hemisphere, the region beyond the Arctic Circle, that is 66.5 degree north latitude. So beyond the Arctic Circle, so called the polar region, have 24 hours of day. Keeping that in mind, we know what happens during that time. The sun never goes down or never sets. So phenomena of midnight sun means the sun neither rises nor sets. It's not that in the middle of the night sunrise. No. So neither the sun rises nor it sets. During summer on 21st of June, the North Pole is tilted towards the sun. Because of this, the regions beyond the Arctic Circle, which is known as the frigid zone, experiences 24 hours of day. During this time, the sun does not sink below the horizon, and this causes the phenomenon of the midnight sun. Now, I just told you the regions uh, within or above the Arctic Circle, okay, beyond the Arctic Circle till the pole will have the 24 hours of day. But this is prominently seen, observed or witnessed in the country called Norway. So that's why Norway is called the land of the midnight sun. Twilight, and in the twilight we have got dawn and dusk. What is twilight? The definition says of twilight is, you can define twilight in simply as the time of the day between daylight and darkness. That means after the night is over, the day begins. So it's the time between the night and the day, and after the day the night begins. So it is the time between the day and the night. So that transition period, which is actually the diffused light period. So twilight is the time of the day between daylight and darkness, whether it happens in the morning or in the evening. Exactly, in the morning if it happens, it is called dawn, and in the evening it happens, it is dusk. But there is a detail. So you can see these pictures, these holy pictures. You can see it is before day. This is just the sun is just before the day. You can see this all the pictures of the dawn. Now twilight is the name given to the period between dawn and sun and at sunrise. Okay, between dawn and sunrise, between the end of the day and sunrise, between sunset and dusk. Okay, so when light is still visible in the sky due to sunlight scattering of the atmosphere. Dawn occurs before sunrise, before the top of the sun reaches the horizon. It is the point at which when the sun hasn't yet reached the horizon. So it is the time between the end of the night and the beginning of the morning. So that is called dawn. Dawn is the end of the night and the beginning of the morning. That transition period is known as the dawn. Vice versa, the dusk. Dusk occurs after sunset, once the top of the sun has passed the horizon. So what is the dusk? Dusk is the time between the end of the day and the beginning of the evening. So again, it is a transition period when the day ends and the evening begins. That is the time called dusk. So with this, we actually come to the end of this particular chapter, motions of the earth. Okay, and now well, go through the assignments, and I have attached the entire text that we have videographed, okay, in that in your assignment. So after the assignment, just go through those pages. You will be familiar with the text that we have used in the video. Wish you all the best, and keep well, stay safe.